Hi Capricorn, it's Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage with your Soul Tarot reading for April 2017. I'm using the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck developed by Caitlin Matthews. If you're returning to the channel, you know a little bit about this deck. It is very, very powerful and it speaks through me quite loudly in a way that is inspiring to me. Capricorn, if you're new to the channel, before I forget, if you're new to the channel, I am a clairvoyant individual with a lot of those types of capacities, if you will. And like all of you, my life has been a very intense, very incredible journey in all kinds of ways, forcing me in some way to surrender to the things that were put in front of me, ultimately for my benefit. And I know that you've been through a similar process. There's been a lot of loss, a lot of struggle, a lot of challenge. So, as a fellow earth sign, I'm offering you my love and compassion. And I know that things are turning, the wheel of life is turning. And it has brought me here to YouTube to try to provide whatever assistance I can through a sacred commitment that I made many years ago. And so this is the next step on my journey. You will see me touching the cards. It is the way I help bring the messages through. And I guess I guess I'll just jump in. There's a lot of energy on the table. That's what I was going to say. There's a quiet, as there was last month. If you're new and you haven't seen the readings, please take some time. We are on a journey in 2017 that is about shift and change. We just had a set of eclipses in the beginning of the year, and I recorded some videos about that. And all of these readings are meant to be letters from the other side, from spirit, however you describe that in your life. It doesn't matter the words you put on it. And in order to engage you in a direct conversation with yourself in the spirit realm, or in order to help you move along your path of destiny and raise your vibration here in this plane, because something is happening this year. I'm a shy Virgo. I would never do something like this, and yet here I am. So I have been appreciating the types of messages that are coming through. And again, for you, if you're new to the channel, go watch some of the videos, February and March, and the eclipse videos. It's important information to help you understand these letters from Spirit, okay? So this is the Judgment of Battle, right in the center of your reading. And you've been through so much. So this is the energy that is lying over the top, giving your reading direction, giving it a thematic presence, is the phrase that's coming through. And we see this person standing victorious and tattered. And my gosh, if that's not the Capricorn story, I don't know what is. So Spirit is acknowledging you right out of the gate. That's what's coming through. That's the phrase that's coming through. Okay? You see the hut in the background? There's some security now, but there has been an epic battle. And this young warrior did battle with a power much greater than himself, and he ended up killing the sacred hound of his adversary. And he now stands in this place of rest and consideration and thought about what has transpired. And so I think that's just a message from Spirit. Last month was a celebratory month with a lot of recognition, and for many of the signs, actually, so much message about shift and change. And it's funny, I keep hearing the word revolution, and with my human tongue I want to change it and say evolution, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is because that may have some meaning for you. Okay, so you are now standing in this place. You survived. Okay, that's the word I'm hearing. You survived, you're here, and now I think it's time. This card is about rest, about taking some time to ponder, to think about the past and about the next steps. So that is overlying this reading. Let's see what's at the center here. Okay. Ah, well, Capricorn, if anybody ever embodied this, it's you. You know, I have so much compassion for you. Partly because of my earth sign set point as well. Do you see this? This is the center of your reading. Look. Look at that. Okay? That is the perfecter of energy. Right at the center of your reading. That is the final card in the cycle runes of the major arcana of this deck. And reflecting again the message from last month, but deepening. And so I think that's, again, I think there's rest for you this month. And we're going to see just some more messages from Spirit about your true heart and where you've been and where you're standing before it's time for you to move forward again, okay? I'm glad to hear that. You need some rest. So the perfecter of energy, do you see all the tools, all the weapons, all the shield? But really underlying is this beautiful vessel that holds abundance and sacred wisdom. And you see how activated this being is? Having come through all of these battles, okay? With the sword and the shield and the spear, and really, you know, this indicates personal power in a sense, okay? That sacred breastplate is about the 4 seasons and the passage of time. And you see the triple spiral of life here too? You are surrounded by this image. This is the energy that's available to you at the center of your being this month. And so I think part of the message is continue to go deep. Allow yourself to meditate or pray or light candles or, you know, whatever method it is that speaks to you through your traditions. And, okay, so there's a message coming. Definitely through your traditions, but also the new information that's coming to you. If you have an inkling or if you have an urge, go straight ahead with that. Because you're in a place where you're really, really activated and able to receive information. Follow those leadings. Okay, that's the phrase that's coming through. Whatever they are this month, just follow them. Rest in this place. Spend as much time as you can in whatever way you can be quiet and deeply with yourself. And I think this speaks to some for you, Capricorn, because you've been through so much. This speaks to some alone time and a lot of self-care. You know, if you can, get a massage, take a long hot bath, whatever you can do. Get a foot massage, any little thing that you can do to provide love and self-care. That's what I'm feeling. You know, there was some of that last month, but this is deeper. Even there is more quiet here, okay? So let's see. There we go. Okay, well, see that? That is the High Priestess. She acts as the guardian for souls that are transmuting, traveling back and forth. She is very activated at the heart chakra, and she has a very high degree of sacred vision. She stands very firm and secure in her place. And she is a fearless warrior in her own right. And her battles have to do with helping people come back and forth across the veil, taking their journey. She stands at the gateway. That's the word that's coming through. She does accompany people as they journey on their sacred pathway. So your path is deepening. You are in this place of just stillness. Do you know, when you think about spiritual traditions, if you will, and travel, in these cards, there's a lot of activity and there's a lot of language that indicates activity. Some of it really intense. However, this is a very quiet type of journeying that you are experiencing in these moments. Coming out of March, having come through the eclipses, and now the spring solstice, the world is turning, okay? Things are turning. And this card, that's what this being is doing. Just sitting in their spot, pondering and meditating about the sacred spiral of life, okay? See that? That's at the center of your reading. So I think this is a month for you to have quiet, knowing that the guardian is here and has been, I'm hearing has been, here with you while you've been having this incredible journey for many years, okay? There's been a lot going on. So I think we're going to see some review and some thoughts, some of your thoughts. Okay, so this is interesting. This is about combat. So we have still these images of battle. This is the combat of art. Okay, it's a number 5 card. It means that internally for you, in your thoughts and in your heart, you are moving along the pathway of developing the capacity to understand yourself and the spiritual concepts that have relevance for you and your ability here in the world. So, do you see the slings and arrows coming in over the top? The sun is coming up. All right. Give me a moment. I believe what's coming through about this is, again, just a reminder, actually, the word I'm hearing is an assurance that you are protected and you are loved as you continue to look outward from this place now, looking at this futility. This is about futility of action and decision making, okay? That brought a type of battle that was things that were forced, okay? And I know from the Capricorns I know, the things they went through, they didn't really want them, many of them. They didn't exactly choose them. It's what was thrust upon them. And that's what the story is about. Okay, I'm not going to go into the long story, but I think for you in this placement, you are understanding. Do you see how this card is encapsulated in this way? You are having some more thoughts about the past and the things that you are stepping away from as you perfect your energy and raise your vibration and your ability to be present in this way rather than in this way. Okay? Let's see what is here. Wow, look at that. So, yep, that is the changer. And the whole name of the card is the changer of will. It's very interesting. I love this card. Again, you see how it's sitting right beneath the judgment of battle? I believe you are having some deep introspection this month. And the phrase I keep hearing is about the past. So I think the things that you've been through, you're in a place of rest and really deep quiet on a spiritual basis. I would like you to put some messages on the thread, if you would, and tell me what you're experiencing. I don't think this means a negative outcome for you, given what's here on the table. In the traditional tarot, do you see that? This is a major arcana card. You see that? In the traditional tarot, this would be the Tower. But here in Soul Tarot, this is about the process that one must go through to change their circumstances, change their will. It is a challenge, okay? Given in order to allow you to choose and let go of your fear in order to move forward. So, give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. So, Capricorn, this is more review. And maybe I'm getting the sense that just the acknowledgement, right? Just to help you understand that what you went through is real. That's the message that's coming through. The things that happened and the journey that you took and the weight that it put upon you are things that were given to you in order to help you awaken and move forward. And I know that may, that may be a difficult message to hear, but it's certainly been true for me as a fellow earth sign. There are just things that have come down my pathway that I've had to stand in this way, with my weapons, with my strength, with this at my back, understanding that I just had to go through it, whatever it was. Okay? Let's see what's at the bridge for you. Okay. So yes, for me, this is not about something that's happening. This is about review. And this is you. Okay? This is the bridge card that led you to your spiritual journey. And it is about combat. Okay? The combat of battle. I love this card. It speaks for itself very loudly. Do you see the path you have come down? You see the blue sky above? There's lush greenery around. You came to a moment that through a heart chakra wounding, there was a death. Here's what I'm hearing. This is you, and this is you. Okay? These are different images of you. Something happened. Whatever that something was, it was a very serious wound. And do you see how the blood of this fallen warrior trickles down into the stream of life? That's a very deep message. I know I don't need to explain it to you, Capricorn. You've been through it. So in this place, you have been tending to yourself. That's the message that's coming through. And do you see the sadness? So much hurt and so much distress and so much sadness. Right? And also some wisdom gained. I'm hearing that phrase, wisdom gained by virtue of these battles, by virtue of this. There's a phrase called the Little Blue Death, and it talks about the journey of your soul and how some aspect of ourselves has to be go through a transformation, like a death, in order to help us move forward, so that we can realize the things we are meant to know. Okay, that's a phrase that's coming through. Very interesting. And do you see how this person has blue in their hair? There is transformation happening. Because you were willing to be present to the best of your ability in the middle of this massive wounding. And it may be that some of you have wounded someone else, and you are coming to a place of awareness about what that action created for you. How that affected you, because it is creating some transformation on both sides here, if you understand my meaning. So these battles that you've been through, the sacred warriorship, has brought you to the journey that you have had as a result. It was a long time in coming, and there was a massive amount of change going on. For every Capricorn I know, this is true. Just things crashing to the ground in order to bring massive shift and change in all kinds of ways. Okay? This is here as a reminder. And if you look at this card, if you just look at the way these cards are lined up, okay? Just see the changer sitting underneath the judgment of battle. That's what the message is. Don't be afraid when you see these things. Please don't get into a fear place. The energy continues to be very deep and meditative here on the table, okay? This is about, okay, so the things are popping out of me almost by accident. This is about meditation. Love yourself, meditate. You are coming to a very deep understanding. You see how these things, if you see this line going across, you are coming to a very deep understanding of your pathway. And the guardian is here. Do you see how this is developing? To give you the protection quietly behind the veil is what I'm hearing. Do you see how these are lined up this way? It's really, I can't wait to see what's there. It's very interesting to me. So let's see what's happening in all of this. Okay. There you go. Yeah, this is a month for reflection, very deep. If you have the opportunity to go someplace for a retreat, I would encourage you to do it. And it might be a retreat into your bedroom at home. Do you know what I'm saying? Close the door, tell the people around you you love them, and you need to have some time with yourself. And just have your moments of reflection. Okay, so that's step number 1. Meditate, allow yourself to think and review about how this battle affected you and the sacred nature of it. Okay? You came to see the futility. That's the message. Because the guardian is here, you saw the ways in which you were throwing slings and arrows and creating this combat of art, okay? It talks about, how is it that we're going to do combat? Are we going to choose futility? Are we going to choose chaos? Or are we going to battle in an artful way that brings the change we want? All right? So you have seen the futility of the things that have happened in your life, and you understand the changes that you can make, and you might, maybe, actually, let me know, would you, if you have a few minutes? I'm wondering if you are making some very large conscious changes in your life, having considered all these things, and having been through this battle, this heart wounding, all right? And you had to resurrect yourself. We know that about Capricorn's journey. So, you know what? Spirit's telling me, yep, now you're on the right path. So, the dialogue of skill. You see this picture? Obviously, this is you. And I think I'm seeing dual messages this month. I think this is you as well. You're having a dialogue with yourself. However, this card is it signifies for you. There are several things popping through all at once. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I'm being pushed to tell the story. Okay, so the story is, this is Merlin. He was a sacred magician, and in his lifetime, he went through a lot. Was a sacred warrior, was a sacred magician, had many, many battles, to the point where he lost himself. He was unable to function. And he was wandering a little bit in the world. And it was someone who, with a lot of love, and I'm hearing this is spirit, but this may also really be someone in your life. So this person represents a sacred oracle in the Celtic tribes. This is one of the most learned poets and oracles, who was a dear friend, who sought him out and went to find him. And through a sacred kind of dialogue, a very skillful dialogue, with a lot of love and gentleness. Do you see he's got his arm around him? A lot of love and care in order to help him reawaken and come home to himself. So, it's interesting that for 2 months now, Spirit's been delivering this message to you. And again, there's a hush in the room. I think if you have someone in your life that you trust very deeply with your heart and soul, that's a phrase that's coming through, real trust, okay, real trust, that you can just have a conversation with, I think it might be helpful to you to unburden yourself. I'm hearing that phrase, unburden yourself. It's a very transformative thing to be with someone who has your best interest truly at their heart, okay? And, as a Capricorn, you kind of hold things close to the vest, don't you? So it might be time for you to explore this type of activity, certainly with yourself, certainly with Spirit, but definitely, I think, here on the planet, because you know what? We're seeing this image, this reflection of this image in these ways, okay? And along with the guardian, and sitting next to the perfecter of energy who meditates on the deeper aspects of the spiral of life. So again, just very quiet here today, Capricorn. Somber mood. Just reflecting about these things, about these changes, about the futility that you have come through in a victorious way, but in a very deep way. So let's see what's here. There you go. Look at this line, Capricorn, please, for a moment, okay? This is the combat of art. It is about futility. A certain type of battle that is futile, that comes to no good end. And through this type of battle, you know, the story behind it is there's a realization about futility. And so you've had, you know, what I'm getting is a lot of time in your life to meditate on that, but you had to realize, because the guardian and the changer is here with you, you came to this realization. It did cause a great change. And you did have a wound. Something happened to you. It might be literal, it might be figurative, you may have lost a loved one, you know, because this is a general reading, it could be anything. How it felt to you as you were going through these things over these many years, it felt like battle, okay? And so you've been developing new skills, new arts. Coming home to yourself is now your spiritual journey. And I know you've been doing that, but I think part of the message is the struggle of these things that you've been through has taken up so much of your time and energy that now you have the capacity to turn inward and come home to yourself. So this is the dialogue of battle, okay? Again, it's about discussion. Do you see? This person still evolving, still transforming. There's the crimson cloak. You know, you're going forward with your passion. There's a youthful aspect to this card. That person is really happy. And, you know, again, little blue fronds in his hair still coming through. But you see the greenery that's popping up all around? All right? There is new growth happening. And what this person is doing is climbing to the top of a pinnacle. All right? And in that climb, there is a joining with the deeper aspects of the spiritual realm that have been with you. Okay? That's the message. Do you see how the guardian was first placement on the human realm? Here to protect you, here to assure you. Spirit's telling me to do this. You see that? And that's the last journey, these journeys that you've been on. That's the message, okay? So what I started to say was the last climb. That's the phrase that's coming through to me. And I think certainly not in your life as a human being, right? We are all evolving over time, and there are going to be times when we have challenges. But for you, regarding this history that you have come through since 2008, it's another reminder that this year things are shifting, okay? The dialogue about these battles takes place in the spiritual realm in order to lift you up and bring you to the top of your understanding through your meditation about this futility, about these things that felt so futile to you. Okay? Remember last month, the boat full of souls? There was adrift in the ocean, striving to get to shore, but not 100% present in the human realm. That's the experience that you've been having on some level. All right? And so that is much more grounded. Yep. Okay, so this is interesting. This is the revelation of skill. This young woman is a maiden, you know, a magical girl made of flowers, okay? See all the passion around her? The river of life flows along beside her, and there is an obstacle in her path. Do you see that? Okay, so in this placement for you, there is just a reminder that obstacle, just exactly what I was just saying, I guess. I'm anticipating the cards, I think is what's happening. You're going to have obstacles. It's part of the human journey. I don't know that that will ever stop because it is what causes us to grow. That's our nature. And certainly as a Capricorn, you know, deep down, if you think about it, one of the things you love is to bust through an obstacle, to put your head down and bust through the obstacles and rise right to the top. Do you see how this is reflecting your nature? Your very deep warrior nature, in a sense, as a Capricorn. So Spirit wants to remind you, when you meet those obstacles in the future, it is important to have a dialogue, a spiritual dialogue with yourself, to understand there is a new way to overcome obstacles. In the story of this card, this young maiden came upon an obstacle, and she actually had the power inside of herself to change the situation. And what she chose to do was to use some deception, if you will, and to try to vanquish the obstacle in a way that was not upstanding, if you will, okay? And so there's a caution here that when you meet obstacles now from this new place, stay on the straight path. That's what I'm hearing. Stay in the straight path. Allow yourself to think about it and to have a judgment from this place, okay, about what it is you should go forward, in what manner, because that in fact is what she had to do. All right, let's see what, there you go. Okay, look at that. That's beautiful. You know, in a certain way, Capricorn, this is another story of transformation. You are on a new quest. Last month there was just rest, okay? This month, more rest in a deeper way. Through this change and this story that you have lived through in the center of your being, you have become very wise and very strong. Do you see all these implementations of battle, right? These are, in this card, it's really about representations of personal strength and power in the center of your being, sitting in the place where those things arise. And as you deepen your review and your understanding, that's what this is about. You now have discovered a new place. You are going to be setting off on a new quest. It is going to be from this place of inner knowledge and enlightenment, if you will, about your own life. It's a quest of art, okay? Do you see that? Do you see? Coming to a place where you pull aside the fronds and you make this magical discovery. This is about peace and tranquility and abundance and being on a journey where you discover those things for yourself. This is a representation of Pisces. It is a portal, I believe. There's a lot of message going on in this card, okay? If you have not looked at the information about the 2 eclipses that happened in February, I'm begging you to go do it. That information has to do with all the planets that were aligned in the sign of Pisces while those eclipses were happening, particularly the annular eclipse that put a ring of fire around the sun on the day of the new moon, opening a new pathway. Okay, Capricorn? So this is very quiet this month. I'm just taking my lead from there. And you know, it's almost as if part of what I'm feeling is there's just almost no words that I need to say. It's just about what you're seeing through these cards. So I'm going to turn off the camera and give you a moment to just gaze into the cards before I turn the camera off. Okay? Spirit says meditate on these images and you understand inside of yourself everything you need to know. Thanks, Cappy. I'll look forward to seeing you in May.